Hello Mallards, it is Thursday for me and it is someday in the future for you, but I am here to talk about Secret Invasion episode 5, which I just finished watching. It is the penultimate episode of the season and things are really starting to heat up in true Marvel television show fashion. We got like a kind of heavy dump on some philosophical issues and feelings, and then the next episode will probably just be fighting. And nothing but fighting. I can't guarantee that, but it's played out that way a lot so far. And why would I think this would be different? So my first note is, well, I think the president might live, but things are not looking good. And then we watched Graphic like walking around his compound, and I was like, I wonder if Gaia could just like be there as either a new human face or just as herself as a Skrull. Like, would Graphic even recognize her as a Skrull? Because she spent so much time with her human face on. And then Gravik's officer was like, you didn't kill Fury when you had the chance. And also, you've been making all these decisions that aren't great, and I am questioning you. And Gravik was like, I am a full dictator. I will murder you with my Groot arms. And then he did. And then he was like, hey, oh, also, by the way, Rhodey, my Skrull buddy, I'm willing to sacrifice the entirety of this compound in order to get more superpowers, to make me really the super Skrull. And so in lieu of boosting morale any good way, I am just going to offer America the opportunity to bomb us. Yay. It's probably not going to go well for him. I also, though, throughout the episode couldn't decide if he was really serious about that or if he was really sure that Fury would try and stop it. And so he wouldn't have pulled the trigger anyway. And I'm not sure there's a way to know until we get to the next episode. I also wrote, poor Fury, Gravik made such a smart play by using his face to kill Maria. And really, that was one of the most intelligent things that anyone has done in this show. Not that there's a particularly long list, unless Sonya was doing it, but it's pretty high up there. I'm still super pissed that Maria Hill is dead, though, in case you wondered or were thinking about it. Then I wrote, Sonya really is so terrifying. I love her. And my next note just says, oh, mutiny! It didn't go well. Spoiler alert, if several, but not even a dozen, regular Skrulls try to take on one super Skrull, they will not succeed. I think this also goes for if less than a dozen regular humans try to take on a single superhuman. The people who were in that elevator with Captain America, intimately familiar with that problem. So I'm just saying it wasn't a smart plan. Remember how we talked about there aren't a lot of smart plays in this? This was not a smart play. And it didn't work. And then Beta was like, you're nothing but a monster. And Gravik killed him, proving his point, but also it doesn't help at all because now you're dead. But I did get some Gaia action. She broke into Fury's safe house. I was ready for her to team up. And then Fury like tried to give a pep talk, but he's not great at pep talks. He's a little bit lost, but maybe Talos's sacrifice won't be in vain. And then my next note just says, Sonya is just so cool. So she had this fantastic line. She was taking on these two scientists who were Skrulls and trying to get information of them. And one of the scientists was giving up some of the information. And the other scientist like pulled a gun and was like, I am not going to let her, we're not going to betray Gravik. Like, let us go or I'm going to kill her. He goes, I'm telling the truth. And Sonya says something like, oh no, I don't doubt that you're saying the truth. And then she says, males in my species are very similar. If they're not busy gaslighting you, they're threatening you with murder. It's what all the podcasts are about. And I thought that line was really friggin' funny. And then she shoots him in the head, which I appreciated. Have I mentioned that Sonya is really cool? Like, she's definitely scary and she's definitely questionable, but she is also really cool. And then my next excitement is Mason. We got more Mason. I was so excited to see him. Nice to know that he's still in touch with Fury, that he's doing pretty good after the blip. I wonder if he got blipped away. I guess we don't know. But I like that he's still around, and I liked his conversation with Fury. He is giving Fury the lip that Fury desperately needs, that he didn't really get from Talos, because Talos doesn't have that kind of relationship. Like, Talos got a little bit angry, but wasn't necessarily giving him the same sort of attitude that he used to get from Natasha, and I guess now gets from Mason. So I liked that, filling in a nice gap. Also, I really hope Mason shows up in Thunderbolts, because that would be fun. And I feel like his character would fit really well in that world. He could also show up if they do a second season of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which I think they are. So like when they do the second season of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Mason would be good to show up there too. I think he'd just be, he's a fun little side character to have pop in. And I was excited to see him. And then they had a funeral for Talos, and it was really beautiful. And I thought it was really funny that they translated the stuff that Gaia said, but they did not translate the prayer that was said at the funeral. And that's interesting. And then I just wrote, wow, I'm just thinking about the fact that Emilia Clarke really knows a lot of fantasy languages. Like, she just happens to have had in her career several roles that required her to speak different fantasy languages, because she speaks at least 2, if not 3 different languages in Game of Thrones. She speaks a language here, and she also spoke some alien languages in Solo. So she's just really learning a lot of fantasy languages. I wonder if she's got a knack for languages. I mean, I recognize it's just lines that you memorize, but I'd just be curious to ask her how she feels about languages. How many languages in the real world does she speak? Now I just wonder a lot about Emilia Clarke. Anyway, I'm derailing the conversation. Let's get back on book. The next thing I wrote is that I love this Priscilla pep talk. I've really enjoyed Priscilla. I think she's pretty great. Fury lucked out marrying her. I hope that they get back together at the end of this. And then they started to get shot up in the house, but my only note is, ooh, a rainbow bookshelf. Because at the moment they were getting shot, I recognized that the bookshelf behind her was like in that rainbow design. And I was like, oh, that's so pretty. Let's ignore the fact that they are getting shot. Here they come to kill Priscilla. It's not gonna work because she has Gaia there to save her, and Gaia is the hero. But they have these backpacks that they whipped out, that like the backpack was full of weaponry, and it's got some sort of bulletproof back to it. And then there was this chest plate that flipped over the front that had some guns like clipped in it, but it was also bulletproof. And I thought that those backpacks were so cool, like with this built-in bulletproof vest. And then I just wrote, we should make those available to school kids. Sad fact about the world. Anyway, my next note is just, ooh, we have the Widow's Veil. I haven't seen that in a hot minute, which is the like screen that changes your face completely. And Fury uses it to sneak into Finland. And when he takes it off, I mean, I knew that that's what was happening, but when he takes it off, I was thinking, wow, I really haven't seen that in a long time. An underutilized piece of technology that would have been helpful in many situations where they did not use it. Also, makes a lot more sense knowing that Skrulls have been around for a while. Like, is that how they ended up developing that technology? Who knows? My next note just says, Sonya's music taste deserves snaps, y'all. We love her. And then, oh, damn. So the harvest that I've been hearing about, which I assumed was DNA, I thought maybe from Kree or other aliens, or maybe from the Avengers, is DNA from basically every single super who was involved in Endgame. And not only did Fury let them harvest it all, but he also kept it. And my note just says, didn't you watch Agent Carter? Come on, Fury. And that was only Steve's blood. It wasn't everybody's DNA. It was just Steve's. And all of that crazy stuff happened. And you kept everybody's? This is the kind of thing you just destroy. Okay? Like, you don't need that. They exist already. You do not need to be keeping that. This is not a keep for a later time. This is a clean it up and destroy it sort of situation. And now you're gonna start World War III because you couldn't clean up after yourself. But then Fury did say a lovely thing. So they visited his grave in Finland. And she was like, don't you have another one of these? And he says, oh, I've got these all over. Dead men need options. And I appreciate that. Also, a collection of graves as hiding spots is really smart. Like, it worked fantastically for Sarah Connor. So I think it's a really smart idea. And certainly he used graves to hide a bunch of things, the harvest and a whole costume change, which is really exciting. And then as he was doing the costume change and putting on his eye patch for the first time in this show, I thought, wow, his scars really have changed so much in the MCU. Like, it's very, very different looking from where he originally was when he appeared at the end of Iron Man 2. But the end of Iron Man 1. That's the end of Iron Man 1, isn't it? Is it 2? Now I can't remember. But it looks different than it did in that particular scene and also in the early MCU films. I like his scarring no matter what, and obviously like updating makeup choices, but it just became very apparent to me when he put on the patch. I was like, oh wow, this does look very different. And now we have one more episode left, which I'm sure is just going to be an episode of fighting. So I'll get there pretty soon. You'll catch up with me eventually. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know how you feel about Sonya as a character. If you know how many languages Emilia Clarke speaks, I'd love to know that. Any other opinions that you have, leave them in the comments. And I will see you tomorrow.